They left me there, tubes in my arm, oxygen hissing beside my ear, the sterile smell of disinfectant mixing with the bitter taste of loneliness. My mother's perfume still lingered in the room. My father's voice still echoed, "We'll be right back, sweetheart, just for a few hours." But they never came back, not that night, not the next. They were celebrating my brother's birthday at home. I lay there in the ICU, barely conscious, staring at the ceiling lights. I told myself they'd call, that I mattered enough for them to come. But the nurse told me later, no one even checked in, not once. That was the moment something broke quietly inside me. Not anger, not sadness, just silence. Growing up, I was always the quiet one, the one they found late in life, the one who didn't quite look like them. Mom used to brush my hair while watching my brother play piano. "He's gifted," she'd say. "You'll find your thing too, honey." I thought, I already did. My thing was surviving the background noise. But even then, I noticed things that didn't fit. A scar on my wrist that neither of them could explain. A different blood type on my medical records. A birth certificate that looked newer than it should have. I asked questions. They changed the subject. So I stopped asking. I learned to watch instead. After they left me in the ICU, something shifted. The doctor said I almost didn't make it. Hypoglycemia, acute stress, dehydration. But that's not what killed me. What killed me was realizing I could vanish, and they'd probably light candles over cake. When the police came, I thought it was a mistake. They said they were reopening a case, something about missing children, DNA anomalies, hospital record mismatches. Then they took a swab from my cheek. And everything unraveled. The results came back 3 days later. I wasn't their daughter. I was a child who'd been kidnapped 30 years ago. Taken from a billionaire couple whose infant had vanished from a private hospital in 1995. They showed me photos. Same birthmark under the left eye. Same scar on the wrist. Same genetic markers. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the faces I thought were my parents, now suspects in a federal case. They begged me not to believe it. Mom said, "We saved you. You were abandoned." Dad said, "We gave you a life." But I could see the panic in their eyes, the kind that comes only when the truth finally catches up. I didn't tell them I already knew, that I'd been digging since I was 16. That I'd quietly collected documents, recorded late-night arguments, copied every false signature, every falsified record. I had built a case, slowly, methodically, because part of me knew. And now I didn't need to lift a finger. The truth had arrived on its own, escorted by the law. But I wasn't done, not yet. The day the billionaire came, the hospital went silent. He walked in surrounded by security, the kind of presence that made air shift. His hair was silver now, but his eyes, those were mine. He stopped when he saw me. His knees buckled before I could speak. He knelt, right there on the cold tile floor, and whispered, "I thought I lost you forever." Something inside me cracked open. 30 years of not belonging, dissolving in a single sentence. Behind him, my parents stood pale, trembling, cuffed. Mom looked at me, tears spilling. "Please, don't let them take us. We loved you." Loved me? They stole me. They raised me under lies, let me rot in a hospital bed while they celebrated someone else's life. I stared at her one last time and said, "You should have checked my blood type." The press tore them apart. The court sentenced them for child abduction, fraud, falsified records. But I didn't watch the trial. I didn't need to. My revenge wasn't their sentence. It was the truth. It was the world finally calling me by my real name. It was the father who knelt before me, and the mother who cried when I walked through the door of a mansion that had once held an empty nursery. I live there now, in a home that was built for the child they lost. The walls remember my absence. I fill them with silence, peace, and sometimes laughter. But every time I see my reflection, I still hear my old name whispered somewhere in the back of my mind. Not as a curse, as a warning. Because the worst kind of betrayal isn't from strangers. It's from the people who teach you what love is supposed to feel like, and then use it to cage you. I was their secret for 30 years. Now, I'm their consequence.